Now this is actually a jig. Everything I've shown up to now is a fixture. What is the difference? A fixture holds the work while it's being processed, while you're working on it, while you're actually doing something. That's a fixture. A jig holds the work when the parts are being assembled. So this is actually a jig. This is actually a fixture. That's the difference. So I do have this fixture, solid micarta. I have a pin for the pivot hole. This fits in here. And a tube of brass which comes only partially over the spring, so that when I set it down and put the lock on it, the spring part is actually elevated and raised so I can work on assembling or disassembling the insert. So how do I do inserts? I made another, once again, fixture that holds the insert part here. This is the insert. This goes into the milling machine. It's locked into the vise. The insert is held in that position, locked down with the clamp. Then I use a 30-degree milling cutter. This is sometimes called a burr, sometimes called a rotary file. It is carbide, and I'll just run it right along and back the edge of the insert. And because my fingers are really big and fat and the inserts are really small, what I've done is I've made a little magnetic holder which takes it out and grabs it for me. And I'll take that and turn it around. You can see the edge there. After I make that cut, I'll turn it around, put it back in the holder, lock it down, and again pass the 30-degree solid carbide burr back and forth. And that gives me a dovetailed insert. I make it and I assemble it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that fixture, is it?
Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, where is it here? I use a solid V block. It's the way it comes, gray iron. It's got a clamp
Can you tip it
held
towards
on
the
with a
camera?
1/4 screw.
Can you tip it towards the camera a little bit so we can see the top of it better?
Hold it this way?
Yeah.
Okay. These are extra holes because this was another fixture I had made for something else. I cannibalized it. I'm always doing that. Improving, as they say. I'm improving.
Progress.
Progress, yes.
And what about your little magnetic thing? Show that. What do you call that?
I call that a little magnetic thing. It's a little magnet.
I call that another patent.
Just a little magnet on once again, micarta, and it just grabs that little insert and hangs onto it, so that I don't drop it on the floor. In this shop, if it gets dropped on the floor, it's gone forever.
Unless
it leaves. It's
unless Rick Clow.
Unless Rick Clow comes and then he does a complete sweep of the shop and he collects all the parts and pieces that I've dropped on the floor over the past 2 months or whatever it is.
You honed that skill of getting seashells at the ocean, right?
Yes.
At the beach.
Okay.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to take a sip of my little drink.
Okay.
And let me tell you
that.
something. We have our own Meyer lemon tree out in the back that Susie planted, and it makes the most wonderful lemonade, and I'm constantly sipping. It's not an essential part of knife making, but it really helps.
And you're never going to get scurvy.
Right. Never. Okay.